In this video, you will learn everything that you need to know about the IELTS writing exam. That includes the format of the exam, the types of questions to expect in the exam, and most importantly, what you can do to get a high score. So, let's begin. Let's go through everything that you need to know, starting with which test you need to do. Well, there are two types of IELTS exams. We have the academic IELTS exam and we have the general IELTS exam. So let's talk about the writing exam in the academic test first. If you want to skip straight to the IELTS writing general test, then you can click on the timestamp on the screen. So as you may already know, the IELTS exam is broken down into four equal sections. We have the listening, speaking, reading and writing section. Obviously in this video we will be talking about the writing exam. Now the IELTS writing test has been designed to examine you on how well you respond to a task, how well you organize your ideas, how well you use vocabulary, and finally how accurately you use grammar. So the writing test is split into two questions. We have writing task 1 and we have writing task 2. Both questions need to be completed in this exam and you have 60 minutes to do so. 20 out of those 60 minutes is for writing task 1 and the remaining 40 minutes is for writing task 2. So you are given double the time for writing task 2 because it's worth double the marks. So keep that in mind. Also, it's important to know that nobody will stop you once your 20 minutes for writing task 1 is over. That means that it's up to you to manage your time. The best way to manage your time is honestly just get into the habit of practicing regularly under timed conditions. Now let's look at writing task 1 in a bit more detail. So for this task, there are 7 different question types that can appear on the exam. And depending on which task you are given, you'll be asked to either describe, summarize, or explain the information that will be given to you on an image. Now the information will usually be of a table, a chart, a diagram, or even some type of process. So to give you a better idea, let's look at some example questions. You can pause and take a screenshot if you like, or you can slow the video down at half speed. So here you can see an example of some type of questions. So here we have the question on tables, the question on line charts, the question on bar charts, the question on pie charts, the question on maps, the question on processes, and finally you may be given this question where you'll be given multiple charts in one question. Now, as you can see from the questions, you are expected to write a minimum of 150 words. But don't worry just yet if that's a bit overwhelming. I will keep some questions in the description below along with some links to some model answers. Now, let's move on to writing task 2. For this task, you'll be asked to write a full essay and that should be written with a minimum of 250 words. Now, unlike writing task 1, for this task, there are 5 different question types and you can be asked any one of them. So let's look at some examples. Now, as you can see on the screen, the first question is an opinion question and here you'll be given a statement and then you will be asked whether you agree or disagree with this statement. Sometimes the question can be reworded, so you may be asked to what extent do you agree or what extent do you disagree. Now, the next question is the advantages and disadvantages. Similar sort of concept where you'll be given a statement and then you will discuss the advantages and disadvantages. The third type of question is called a problem and solution. So I will let you read the text on the screen. The next question is a discussion question where you will discuss both views, and the final type of question is called a two-part question where the question will be split into 2 parts, meaning that you will be talking about 2 different things. Now again, I will leave questions and model answers in this description below, and also I've made many tutorials on my YouTube channel where I myself answer full IELTS writing task 2 questions, so make sure you check those out after this video. Also, it is important to know that because this is the academic IELTS test, you will be expected to answer both questions in a formal way. Now, here are some tips that I recommend that you follow to get the highest mark possible. Firstly, Firstly, write clearly and get straight to the point. Secondly, organize your ideas logically and put your information in paragraphs. Next, make sure you use the appropriate vocabulary, and finally, make sure your grammar is accurate. Now that might sound like a lot of information, but this is why I'm here to help you. So if you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comment section below. Now let's move on to the IELTS general test. The topics used in the IELTS general test are of general interest. And just like the academic IELTS, you will be given 2 questions and you need to answer both of them. So let's look at writing task 1 in a bit more detail. So in writing task 1, you'll be presented with a situation and then you'll be asked to write a letter requesting information or explaining a situation. Unlike the academic writing, you are not expected to write in a formal way. You can write the letter in a personal or a semi-formal way. Now, the aim of this letter is to show your ability to communicate using English letter writing conventions. So the way that this will work is that you will be given a common everyday situation, such as writing to apologize for missing a friend's party, or complaining to a company about bad service, writing to give advice to a friend about where to go on holiday, or writing to express your interest in a new job. Now, in addition to being given this situation, 3 bullet points will be given to you to tell you exactly what you need to include in your letter. So you might, for example, have to describe details, give reasons, express likes and dislikes, or make suggestions or recommendations. Now, depending on who you are writing the letter to, you may want to write in a formal or an informal way. For example, if you are writing a letter to a company where you are complaining about the service, then you may want to use formal language. Whereas if you are just sending a letter to your friend, then you may use informal language. Now, here are some example questions. So I'm going to put these on the screen. You can pause as you wish, or if you want to, you can slow down the speed of this video to catch everything. Again, feel free to screenshot this video, but I will leave some sample questions and model answers in the description below. Now let's move on to task 2. Now, when it comes to the general IELTS, when writing for task 2, you will be asked to write in response to a point of view or an argument or some type of problem. Now, some examples of the type of topics that you may be shown for writing task 2 are whether it is better to homeschool children, whether the drinking age should be raised, and that refers to alcohol, also who is responsible for the care of the elderly, or how families could be brought closer together. Now, if you don't know how to respond to any of these tasks, don't worry too much, at least not yet, because the instructions of this task will tell you how to discuss these topics clearly. So, for example, you may be asked to provide factual information, outline and present some type of solution, justify an opinion, so that just means backing up an argument, or you may be asked to evaluate evidence and ideas. Now, it is important to complete the task carefully, and that just means to use relevant ideas or examples to justify your opinion. Now, to do this, your ideas should be clear, and one of the best ways to keep your ideas clear is by using paragraphs. You will also be assessed on using language accurately and appropriately to express your ideas. Now, I've made this tutorials playlist over here where I myself answer some of these questions, so make sure you check that out next, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.